step, I'm on my grind. If you think that you could be it, so I say it in my rhymes. So many dreams that I wanna achieve. Look myself in the mirror like I believe. Wanna get your day going, it's the fix you need. Work hard so I can feed my nephew or my niece. What I do it for a family, do it to get a Grammy, do it to be the greatest, earliest and the latest. Niggas that tried to play us, wishing they never did, trying to do me.
Today's episode was brought to you by the Comfort Experts. See us for all your heating and air conditioning needs. For more information, visit onehouraircarolinas.com. That's onehouraircarolinas.com.
Gen Y, Gen X, Millennials, Generation Me, Generation Internet. You know who you are. You've been crushed, hit hard by this economy.
So if you're dealing with college debt, maybe you're even trying to move out of your parents' house or start a new business. Look, the only way you're going to be able to do that is to be able to produce and to get people to pay you what you're worth.
I'm fighting for your generation. I'm not counting you out. I believe in you. We're here to give young hustlers the advice and tools they need to succeed in the 21st century.
Hey, what's happening? What's up? This is your man, Jared Glant. At Jared Glant on Twitter, on Periscope, anywhere in the social space you can find me. Welcome to Young Hustlers. It's Thursday, it's noon, it's time to get your game on. Woo! Woo, woo, woo. So last week was an awesome show, man. It was the 100th show. It was a good milestone. And I want to get you guys involved. Call in with your questions. The number is going to be 305-865-8668, 305-865-8668. And man, we got a great show today. We're talking about the hustle. Today, this is episode 101, right? Hustlin' 101, Young Hustlers 101. You guys get the tie in there? So look, I want to give you 3 or 4 main things that you guys can do to get on your way to really taking your game to a whole new level. Yesterday, Heath and I, the Dominator, my man from the sales office here, from the sales team, he's our top guy, one of our top guys in the office. We went to New Jersey to go see a couple clients and ended up putting some last-minute meetings together. Always reminded of the never go anywhere and see one person rule that we've put in place, right? That always rule that is a part of the Cardone culture. And I'm going to talk about some always that you guys need to have. But before I get into that, man, I just want to break it down. What do you need to do? We're getting close. We're closing out on the year. It's, we're Thanksgiving's right around the corner, and then Christmas, and the next thing you know, it's going to be 2016. What are you going to do to make sure that you're not in the same place next year as you were this year? Man, you got to get your hustle on, right? Some people don't really know what that means. Some people don't know where to start. If you're watching this show, at least you're interested, right? At least you're interested in learning something, hopefully. And so we bring this show to you guys every week so that you can get advice and that you can get tips. We don't claim to know everything, right? Grant doesn't claim to know everything. I don't claim to know everything, but we've both done some things that worked. Obviously, his stuff worked, in multiple magnitudes more than mine. But I'm just getting started, right? So I want to share with you some information that I pick up along the way from him about the hustle. And man, thanks for everybody that's online right now. Lewis's Success, Arshad, Whosoever Press, Teddy Lim, Ernie Velasquez, Frank the Tank. Appreciate you guys coming on live. You can also chat in the comments on GrantCardoneTV.com. And I'll try to respond to your questions if I can. But we're talking about the hustle today. And before we get into the hustle, and the 101 things that you need to know, those fundamentals, I want to go over something that was posted in Forbes about the working benefits that millennials value most. Now, this is the millennials that everybody's typecasted as entitled, and the disenfranchised youth, counted out, all these bad negative things that you hear. This is a poll that was done. The number one thing that millennials value most in a position is training and development. I actually really like that. Number 2, flexible working hours. I hate that. Number 3, cash bonuses. I can understand that. health care, some type of pension, greater vacation allowance, and you can just kind of see as you move down the list here how they kind of teeter off. But look, I think that this is it kind of sets up the mindset of where most millennials are at right now. Hey, look, they just want to go somewhere where they can be successful, where they're going to get training and development, where they know that people are going to help them be successful where they're at. Number 2, flexible working hours. Now, this is, I think, the big contention point between employers and millennials today, where people want to have these flex schedules where they're working these hours or those hours. And man, I just got to tell you that I don't really understand that, right? Like, for me, I know where I want to get, right? Because I'm clear on my goals. I'm clear on what I want. I'm clear on what I show up every day for. And so for me, what I do in the workday in the office is getting me there faster, right? So if I can get to my goals by 40 or 50, which one do you think I'm going to choose? If you can achieve every goal financially, spiritually, with your family, every goal, if you could achieve that by 40 or 55, which would you rather choose? See, it's about you getting real with the situation and saying, hey, look, what's important to me? And flexible working hours, I couldn't disagree more with that because, look, you're going to have to work hard. And that's really where I want to start with Hustlin' 101. Success is hard. Creating the life of your dreams will be hard. In fact, it may be the hardest thing that you ever do in life. Getting a job, incredibly hard. They don't teach you this. I didn't learn this in college. I thought literally because I went to school and I got a degree, I was going to be able to go out and send my resume places and people were just going to fall all over me, right? I was talented, right? I had skills. I was personable. I could go in and make a difference in a company that I went to work for. But dude, I'm sending in a piece of paper over email, and I'm thinking that it's going to communicate. Dude, nobody ever prepared me for how hard it was going to be just to get a job, right? So the first thing you have to understand is the mindset it takes to be successful, right? Getting a job will be hard. Being successful in a high level will be hard. Getting a raise may be hard for you to ask for. Getting enough clients for you to actually create enough income for you to be happy where you're at will be hard. So there's a few more things that I want to cover about success being hard so that you have the right mindset, and we'll get to those when we get back. This is Young Hustlers.
If you're interested in becoming an internet marketer, network marketer, internet entrepreneur, or business owner, pay attention to this offer. CPA, known as Cost Per Action, promotes offers to top companies via paid traffic platforms. Imagine positioning yourself as the dominant player in your industry all over the internet, with people seeking you out for job opportunities, your product, and your service, while increasing your income to over 6 figures in 9 months. The Millionaire Mastermind will show you how. Learn through us with step-by-step digital instructional programs, free weekly webinars, and 24/7 customer support. The Millionaire Mastermind is the go-to expert for all resources and training to thrive in this industry. And it all starts with our free 6 Figures to 9 Months webinar. Sign up for your free 6 Figures in 9 Months webinar at themillionairemastermind.com/6 figures. That's themillionairemastermind.com/6 figures. If you want success in business and in life, you must learn to sell. It's a way of life. You learn to predict outcomes, you help your customers, and you take massive action. Available now is New York Times best-selling author Grant Cardone's Sell or Be Sold package that gives you everything you need to know to get your way in business and in life. Get the hard copy Axiom Business Award-winning book, the 15 CD audio program, video digital quick read, the Sell or Be Sold MP3 with over 20 hours of content, the Sell or Be Sold workbook and trainer's manual, and a never-before-seen 3.5-hour Sell or Be Sold seminar delivered by Grant Cardone, available for you to watch on demand 24/7. This over $1,200 value is available right now for only $199. Get your package at grantcardone.com/Sell or Be Sold. That's grantcardone.com/Sell or Be Sold.
Owning a home has many elements that have to be looked after. One of the most important elements is comfort, and your heating and air conditioning is priority. That's why we stop at nothing to provide on-time service and expertise for all of your heating and cooling needs. We are the comfort experts. we have the solution for all of your trickiest heating and air conditioning needs. That's why we brought you our show, The Comfort Experts. Every week we bring you tips and tricks to improve your home and bring you peace of mind with our quality service tips for home heating and air conditioning maintenance. Visit onehouraircarolinas.com to tune into our weekly updates and services for your home improvement. That's onehouraircarolinas.com today.
Hey, we're back. Young hustlers, we're talking about you hustle, man. Do you have the fundamental building blocks to even be a hustler? That's what the show's about today, guys. Number one, the first thing you need to know is the Hustlin' 101. Dude, it's going to be freaking brutal. It's going to be so hard. And you're going to want to quit, and there's going to be roadblocks, and there's going to be stumbling blocks, and there's going to be setbacks. Dude, it's going to be the hardest thing that you ever do in your life is creating next level success. That's why there's so few people doing it, man. That's why there's so few people that are out there cracking it. And when I see somebody else that's successful, I'm like, dude, that tells me something about them. That they can push through the adversity and the setbacks. Dude, you got to have relentless work ethic. Dude, you got to have this relentless desire to just win and be the best, right? You got to make tough decisions, man. It requires you to have tough conversations. I hate having tough conversations. I hate confrontation, right? But I know for me, that's something I have to push myself into because it's part of success. It's part of negotiating the deal. It's part of dealing with employees. It's part of all of that. It's something I need to do a better job of pushing myself into, right? So you just got to remember, like, you are creating the life of your dreams. What is that worth to you? How much work is that worth? What are you willing to sacrifice to get there? These are conversations that you need to have with yourself before you even show up and be like, hey man, I want to be the number one guy here. You need to get really clear on how hard it's going to be. Because if you have the wrong expectations and that door gets closed in your face or that phone hangs up on you, and you don't have the right expectation that you're going to have to keep coming back over and over and over and over again, dude, you're going to fall back like everybody else and you'll be like, man, this is hard. I don't know if this rich thing, this success, this 10X, I don't know if this is really for me. Dude, because you got the wrong mindset. That's what the 10X rule is all about, man. It's all about getting your mindset right for how hard it'll really be, right? The guy or girl you want, the dream job, the income, everything, it's going to be hard, right? You just have to know that the payoff and your clarity on the payoff is worth more than the hard work that you're going to do today for it. So number two, you got to find the right vehicle to pour your horsepower into, right? You know, it's an unfortunate thing, but you know, there are just some positions that you go and your skills are being underutilized, right? Like the work that you're doing, it will not produce, it will not ever produce for you in the position that you're in, a level of income that's going to make you, that's going to get you where you want. I mean, it's just the truth. And as you're going through and you're trying to identify, that question for you, like, are you in the right spot? Like, you may not be in the right spot. I don't know. I mean, I know I'm in the right spot. I know what my potential is. I know what the opportunity is here. So when you're evaluating that, when you're trying to figure out, like, is this the right place for me to be? The first thing that you need to evaluate is you do need to evaluate the opportunity. What is the opportunity in this place? So, like, in this business, where can I go? What can I learn? If you're not going to get income from a place that's going to get you where you want to be, you better go there and learn something, right? Like, if you're going to go take a job somewhere and you know you can't make the money you need to make, you better freaking learn something that's so valuable, it's worth more than the money. You need to be clear on that, like, crystal clear. So you need to understand what the opportunity is. Number two, dude, you need to figure out how much money the top person's making before you get there. Like, and not like what's the potential income? Like, dude, what is the number one guy they're doing right now? It really doesn't have any impact on you, but if somebody's telling you, hey, you can make $1 million a year here, and they got a bunch of people making 50 grand, there's a problem, right? There's a problem somewhere. Something's out, something's wrong. So you need to understand, like, what is the opportunity? Where do I see this going? What are people actually doing there? Like, what is real, right? Like, Grant used this example one time, and I don't know if it ties in perfectly, but I'm just going to try it anyways. So we were talking one day about something related to, the right vehicle. He's like, dude, I can take Sabrina and I can say, pick up that pillow, and she can do it, right? I can say, throw that ball, and she can do it. If I tell her to pick up that 100-pound bag of cement, there ain't no way it's happening. Like, it is not physically possible for her to pick up that 100-pound bag of cement. It just ain't, it's not gonna happen. So when you're looking at your situation, you gotta understand, is the opportunity here, is this thing gonna get me where I wanna go? Is it gonna get me closer? Is it gonna get me at least an education, right? And then, can you get behind what they're doing, right? So but you're going into a company, what's the potential? What's the opportunity? How much are people making there? Dude, and can you get behind it? Like, when you're assessing the vehicle, dude, you need to ask yourself those questions. Can you get behind their product? Remembering that you might need to sell yourself. This may be the most important thing that you do in your next opportunity, is selling yourself on, can I get behind this? And if you can't, you need to work yourself through. How could I make sense of this? Why would somebody pay more to buy this product than that product? What is the unique positioning of this product versus that product, or this company versus that company? You have to find your thing that you can get behind and you can get confident and you can build conviction with, so that you can go out and actually be successful selling it. Because if you can't do that, no matter where you go, you'll never be in the right vehicle. You got to be able to get behind it. Every company, every product, every service has flaws, has shortcomings, has things that they can do better, right? But it's not your job to focus on those. It's your job to get all in, 100% behind what the company does, right? What is the problem that they solve so important, so valuable that people are actually going to give you money for it, right? And then getting your head wrapped around that, right? So we're talking about Hustling 101. The first thing was, dude, success is going to be hard. The work is going to be hard. The decisions are going to be hard. The sacrifices are going to be hard. Number 2, dude, you got to find the right vehicle to pour your horsepower into. If you're giving every ounce of your being to something and you're committed and you're all in, attitudes in, actions in, approaches in, everything's in, and you're still not cranking, dude, if you're not in the right vehicle, you will like literally, it's going to be the most frustrating thing for you. And then you're going to go home every night. You're going to have all this stuff going on in your head. Dude, I've been there before. I've been in the job where I'm sitting there at the desk going, dude, I freaking hate this job. I show up early. I'm going all in, and dude, it's not happening. It's just not clicking. It's maddening, right? I mean, you guys been in those situations before? We got a caller on the line, Mohammed from Dallas. What's going on, Mohammed? Welcome to the show.
What's up, Mr. Jared? First and foremost, man, I want to thank you for having me here, man. You can follow me on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram at Moguala, okay? Just to let you know, man, I'm literally right across the street. I'm from Dallas. I flew out here just to meet you and Grant. I met Grant yesterday. I sent you a 30-second video. You responded, asked me to send you a resume. I sent you my resume.
Right.
I just want to know if I can come by the office.
Yeah, man, come by after the show.
All right. I will be there, man. And once again, man, I'm really inspired by what Grant is doing, and I'm really inspired by you, man, because you're a great example for people my age of 23, the millennial generation, man.
We got it, dude. Hey, come to the office when the show's over. We got to run to a break here. We'll be right back, Young Hustlers.
Perfect.
Are you looking for ways to raise funds to increase your local impact? If you're a nonprofit, church, civic group, school, or individual, Funds to Org Shoe Drive fundraiser helps your cause raise funds while supporting micro enterprises in developing nations. Funds to Orgs provides at no charge the tools you need to create a successful no-calorie fundraising event. Just engage your supporters to collect gently worn, used, and new shoes. We'll transport the collected shoes and issue a check back to you within 48 hours of processing. Sign up now at fundstoorgs.com. That's fundstoorgs.com. Owning a home has many elements that have to be looked after. One of the most important elements is comfort, and your heating and air conditioning is priority. That's why we stop at nothing to provide on-time service and expertise for all of your heating and cooling needs. We are the comfort experts. We have the solution for all of your trickiest heating and air conditioning needs. That's why we brought you our show, The Comfort Experts. Every week, we bring you tips and tricks to improve your home and bring you peace of mind with our quality service tips for home heating and air conditioning maintenance. Visit onehouraircarolinas.com to tune into our weekly updates and services for your home improvement. That's onehouraircarolinas.com today.
We're talking about the hustle. I don't know if that's like indicative of the hustle, but I feel like it could be. I don't know, whatever. Hustling 101, young hustlers, all right? What have we covered so far? We've covered number one, dude, get your mindset set about how difficult it's really going to be. How hard is it? And then set your expectations that it's going to be even 10 times harder than that. That way, when you hit adversity, you can continue to push through. Number two here, we got find the right vehicle, right? Make sure that you get in a spot that is actually going to let you pour your horsepower into something that will be fruitful for you. Okay. Number three, and let me tell you, this is all based off of the number two thing that millennials value most is flexible working hours. There ain't no hustle. I don't see hustle anywhere in flexible work, right? So number three, develop skills that you can use. All right. This is something that I think people have some misunderstandings about. We talk a lot about reading books, and a lot of people are like, "Oh yeah, man, I just read that book. I just read this book." Well, what'd you learn from it? CEOs read 60 books a year, but dude, you have to learn something. You have to develop skills that actually do something, right? Don't just read a book to read a book, right? Hoping that you just magically, by osmosis, you're going to be like, man, whatever's in that book's translating to me the first time I read it. Dude, I know I got to read a book 2 or 3 times to actually understand the book. The first time through, I'm getting introduced to all the concepts. The second time through, I can actually start paying attention. The third time, I actually learn something. I know for me, when I pick up a book, I'm not thinking I got to read this book once. I'm like, dude, I got to read this book 3 times. It's going to be hard. Back to number one, right? So look, if you can't put practices in place with what you're doing with books, you won't learn anything from them. So like if you think back to when you were in school, right? And like you were studying for a test, for me at least, I'd have my notes out, my textbook out, and I'd be going through taking notes or typing them on the computer. But dude, I was going through and writing everything out, right? I was clearing it out. What questions did I have? What were the high points from it? Dude, I was writing all my notes out. Do you guys do that with books? Dude, your book, you should have a notepad with you while you're reading a book, right? Where you're going through and you're highlighting things and earmarking pages. I mean, dude, your book should be freaking destroyed. Like these will not qualify for secondhand books because they're just going to be tore up. You're going to have all your scribblings all over them. Because you're actually getting the information and doing something with it. I can teach somebody how to make a cold call. I can tell them the words to say, but if they don't actually do that, they're not gonna learn anything. They have to be able to apply the content, right? So, here's some examples. So for Sell or Be Sold, okay. So what are some examples of things that you can actually take from Sell or Be Sold? What you should be able to do is you should be able to take concepts like always agree or the price myth, or commitment, right? You should be able to take those things and correlate back specifically to, hey, when would I need to be more agreeable in my sales process with a customer? When am I saying no before I'm saying yes? When am I saying that can't happen before, hey, look, I understand why you want to feel that or why you feel that way. The reality of the situation is, where are you meeting confrontation in your process where you should be first moving into agreement? What are some things that you can do specifically to drill into role play, handling price problems or price objections or customers that are price sensitive with your product and what you do? Like, are you taking something from this book or are you just saying, oh yeah, hey, the price myth, that makes sense. Oh, agree with people, yeah, that makes sense. And then not doing anything with it. You can read 60 books a year, but if you don't take anything from it, you wasted time. You got to learn something. You have to take something out where if I said, hey, you just read this book, tell me what you took from the book. What did you take from it? When Grant talks about the 10X rule, he's like, hey, what did you take from the book? Oh man, it was great. The people that really read the book and really understand it, they're like, oh man, it was the mindset, it was going for failure, it was burning the house, they go through and they list out everything that they took from the book and they're clear on it and they can remember it. I'm guilty, dude. I don't know have you guys ever read books before where you get through them and you're like, dude, I don't know. I read that book a year ago. I don't remember what it was about. Anything. You guys? Yeah, because you just pick up books and you're just like, maybe I'll get something out of it, right? The way to make sure that you get something out of it is to take freaking notes, dude. To have a notepad together where you're writing out ideas on how things translate into your business and how you can make it your own. Closer Survival Guide. Closer Survival Guide, another book Grant wrote. Like, what is the takeaway from that? Dude, you got to be drilling and role-playing the closes and making them applicable to your business. You know, if you're not first, you're last. Are you going through? Are you actually making the list, right? We put the exercises in those books for a reason. We put those exercises in the books because most people don't take notes and they don't do anything with the books that they read. So by putting the blank lines in there and asking the questions at the end of the chapter, we cross our fingers and hope that you might fill it out, right? But this is a guidebook. This is a roadmap for you, right? Take that book and do something with it. Find out how that correlates into you and your space and what you're doing, right? You know, the 10X rule. I mean, you know, what areas do you want more in? What areas do you want a 10X in? What actions do you need to take? What is your competition not willing to do? What are all these things? Do you have a sheet of paper that says, hey, the 10X rule, this is how the 10X rule applies to me? Because if you're not doing that, you're not learning anything. You're not learning anything that can be applied, right? So reading books is great, and people ask me for the book list that I put together all the time, but if you don't do anything with what you learn from it, it's going to be worthless. Paul from Fresno.
Hey, what's up, man? Good to be on the show.
Yeah, man. Thanks for calling in, man. I appreciate you watching. Let me ask you something. What are your hustling 101 rules? What are your top 3?
Hustling 101 rules. Just getting out there and taking action, man. I mean, just like what you said, you know, it's something that you can't really think about and start. You know, like a lot of people you talk to, they say, yeah, I'm starting this, I'm starting that. Well, you know, they've been starting for however long now, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, you got to do now, you know?
So what else? Action's number 1. What's number 2? What's number 2 for you?
Action. Shoot, man, I don't know. Just taking action, man.
Did you read the 10X rule?
No, man, I just got it in on Monday. I got it in the mail.
Solid.
10X rule and Sell or Be Sold, and I'm probably halfway through, a little over halfway through Sell or Be Sold right now, and dude, that book's awesome.
Well, we'll make sure that you can take something from that. What do you do for work?
Right now, I'm working for Califia Farms. I'm a truck driver for them, but I've really kind of considered moving over to sales. You know?
Yeah. Well, Sell or Be Sold's a good place to start.
Yeah, exactly. I run across you and Grant, and I believe everything you guys say, man. I mean, you guys are. I mean, everything. I mean, is awesome what you guys are talking about. You know? And
man, appreciate that. People. Appreciate that, man. What question do you have? Do you have a question when you called in?
Yeah, I had a question earlier. It's really off topic, but I had a question about, you know, I'm only making $1,600 a month, you know, and the car I have right now is really it's pretty old, you know. It's not new. It's like a '94, and it's kind of breaking down on me. And I was wondering, I know you were a car salesman, and I was thinking about taking out a loan and going down to a car auction and getting a car for, you know, $5,000 or $6,000. And everyone I've been talking to about it has been saying, you know, don't take out a loan. That's stupid. Don't do it. And I really wanted to ask somebody that had it's kind of headed in the right direction and knows what they're talking about.
So you're making $1,500 a month right now?
Yeah, $1,600 a month.
Yeah. So what I would do right now is focus on what you can do to increase that.
Okay.
That's vitally important. I mean, I got a guy that worked here that when he came to work here, he sold his car and started riding the bus because he needed the money. And so he was like, you know what? I'm getting rid of the car. I'm going to ride the bus. I'm going to, you know, suffer through this for a few months so that I can get my feet underneath me. And he started doing deals. And then he was able to go out and buy a car, right? Like you need to focus on taking the income that you have right now and spending no money on anything that does not contribute to you being able to produce more money, right? Like the buying the books, beautiful investment because you're going to take something from it, right?
Right.
But I don't know if I'd go out, if I was you, I don't know if I'd go out and get debt right now if you got a car that still drives, right? You know, I would focus on getting in a vehicle, right? Understand, dude, like you going out and saying, hey, I want to be in sales. That sounds a lot easier than it really is. So get your mindset right about how hard it is. Number 2, right? You got to find the right vehicle. Get in a place that's going to allow you to make some money because $1,500 a month is going to keep you behind the 8 ball all the time. That's not a ton of money to live off of, you know?
Right.
And then number 3, you got to actually take those books and learn something from them, right? So
exactly,
I'm just putting in the hustling 101 steps for you so that you can find out where to go. But I mean, if it was me, I'm just saying, I don't know if I'd go take a loan out for a car right now.
Yeah, definitely. Yep. Hey, man, I appreciate it very much.
Dude, I appreciate the call. Thanks for calling in. Let's go to Brandon from Missouri.
Hey, what's going on, Mr. Grant?
Brandon, it's Jared. Grant ain't here, man. You watching the show?
Oh, yeah, I just tuned in. Sorry about that, brother, man.
Yeah. What's going on, man? What's your question?
Hey, I got a question. I just moved up from a little bit of a rural area, moved up to the city to be a car salesman. Now, I'm 3 weeks ago I moved up here, and I'm just trying to figure out what I could do to adapt, achieve, and overcome my situation and be dominant, to be the best at what I do. What are some steps that I could take to do that?
Yeah, well, dude, the first thing, number one, is you need to understand that you're not working when you're at the store. Like, you're working 24/7 right now. You need to. Every person you talk to is a prospect. The people that you're not talking to are prospects. There are people that everybody in your area, no matter how big or how small they are, dude. What do they all have?
Well, I mean, they all have cars.
They all have cars, man. What do you do?
I get a ride from my grandmother every morning.
You sell. Well, I'm just saying, you sell cars, right?
Yeah.
They have cars. You sell cars. You got to make the two come together. But you can't wait for them to come to you, man. You got to go to them. This is a big mistake that people in retail make, is they wait for the business to come to them. A lot of car salespeople that we work with, dude, they just wait for business to come to them, dude. If you want to be successful, you got to go out and get it. You should be making between 80 and 100 phone calls every single day.
Really?
If you're working part-time. I mean, like, dude, you need to be freaking having so much activity. Go to your manager and say, give me every deal that you guys couldn't get done in the last 3 years. I'm going to go resurrect the dead. They call me the Lazarus Man. I'm bringing them back from the dead. Because
we have a BDC apartment that does all that for us, and they kind of spread them out too.
Yeah, dude, you want to rely on somebody else for your paycheck?
Nah,
I didn't think so, man. So get yourself a list and start making some calls.
Hey, I appreciate that, brother, man.
All right, man. Thanks for the call. I appreciate it, Brandon. So look, the last and the final step, Hustling 101, dude. You have to define your always. Define the things that you will always do. Define your 10 commandments of the hustle, right? Now, this is going to be different for everybody. I've been fortunate enough to work with a guy, Grant, who has done extremely well for himself because he had some things in place. He was like, I'm always doing this. I mean, talk about this. Number one, success is hard. Dude, Grant lived on the road for 16 months, didn't come back for 16 months. Hotel to hotel, city to city, living out of a rental car. I mean, dude, that's commitment right there. But he was focused on the prize, right? So his list always was, dude, I'm going in, I'm working every day. I'm never seeing one person. I'm being persistent. I'm following up. I'm calling in. I'm setting the area up before I get there. He had his set of always, right? So what are some alwayses that you can have, right? So always mine. These are a list of mine, right? Number one, always show up early. I hate being late. I hate being on time. I love being early, right? Like there's nothing that I get that bugs me more than being late. Like if I'm late because of somebody else, Sandy, my fiance, if I'm late because of her, dude, it freaking drives me up a wall. I don't like being late. I like being early. I like being there on time. I like being there early, not on time. I like to actually show up and let people know, hey, look, I value your time. I respect it. I'm here early. I can hang out for a few minutes. No big deal. Dude, you got to build this in because people show up early, dude, that communicates a lot of respect. It communicates a lot of respect for your time, for the opportunity, whatever that may be. Whether you're going out to dinner, to a meal, whatever. Dude, show up early, dude. I promise you. You get around high net worth people, you get around successful people, dude, always show up early. They will respect it. It doesn't matter if they show up late every time, always show up early. Which leads me to number two, always stay late. Never leave here at 6 o'clock, ever. Ever, ever, ever. I don't leave here because we work from 9 to 6. I don't leave. I try to get as much time in as I can afterwards. And everybody in that sales office does the same thing. They all show up early, they all stay late. They're not working on a clock. They're like, dude, I'm here, I'm grinding, I'm all over it, and I'm gonna stay late too, as late as I need to. We got, guys staying here till 8:30, 9 o'clock at night. Because they're here crushing it. They're grinding, right? They've got their fundamentals in. Number three, always agree. This is, as a salesperson, this is something that really was an eye-opener for me on more levels than one. because agreement is how you get agreement, right? To use a grantism, right? Without agreement, there can be no agreement, right? So, we use this, I think Dave Robart showed me this, but like if you put two people together and you're both pushing on each other's hands, right? That's symbolic of like, hey, I got my position and you got yours and they disagree. But if you guys are both pushing next to each other and one person starts slowly giving, what happens is you can actually control where that person goes. It's a little trick. You're probably going to go try it out with somebody. You should, because it's telling. And it's going to give you a good visualization of, okay, hey, that's how that works, right? Like once I release and I say, hey, look, I understand, I'm with you. Dude, I'm with you, man. I'm all in with that. You can take them wherever you want to go. It's when you have confrontation that things begin to get tough, right? What agreement also does, and when we're in the sales office, this is like the underlying effect of agreement. Dude, if you know that without a doubt, every response that you make, with whatever interaction you have, the first response you're going to make when somebody comes at you with something is, hey man, I understand. It gives you something to say that you don't have to think about. Which means if you're not thinking about agreeing with somebody, you can be thinking about what you're going to say. So when we talk about eliminating communication lag on a sales call, so like when somebody says, hey, I'm not interested, instead of them trying to think of how they're going to handle it, they always immediately go into agreement. Hey, I completely understand. It gives them that safety net, that little like half a second safety net to say, hey, look, I understand, I'm with you. I understand the position that you're speaking from, I'm with you. It gives you that moment to kind of like compose yourself and gather yourself, because a half a second makes a difference. A half a second in a sales call makes a difference. And so when you have something that's automated like that you can do without thinking about while you're kind of figuring out where you're going to go, dude, that's powerful. Number 4, always go for production before perfection. This is one of the ones I learned from Grant. Okay, really important. This was really hard for me to do because I'm the kind of guy that wants everything to be perfect, and that actually slows you down, right? It ends up kind of paralyzing you and crippling you. It doesn't mean that you don't move. It just means that you move a lot slower. So whether it's a project that you're doing, whether it's a video that Rob's creating or a graphic that Polly's creating, dude, it's sort of this process where, you went through it, right?
All the time.
In the beginning, right? When you first came here, Grant's like, dude, I don't care if it's perfect, get it up.
No, it was a struggle for me because I'm used to having it right the first time.
Because you're a creative person, You're like, dude, it's got to be perfect. Everything's got to be right.
Mm-hmm.
So for a salesperson, it could be getting your pitch right. Don't worry about your pitch being perfect. Make the call. Go see the customer. Like, just show up. Be there first. Show up. Take that first step of production, right? Make the action. Take the action. And don't worry about being perfect. Number 5, always learn and grow, right? Always learn and grow. The second you think you know it all, you become a victim to everything else that's going to happen, right? In your life, you become the effect of things because you know it all, right? Because now things are going to start hitting you. You don't know how to respond to. You don't know how to deal with. Who knows, right? The next one, always stay focused on your goals. It was funny because I always, growing up in sales, are like, okay, hey, what's your goal? What's your goal? What's your goal? But I never truly understood the value of being clear on your goals until I went a solid year writing them down every day. Until I got to that point, I'm like, oh, wow, this makes a huge difference. You write your goals down once, the next day you forget, next thing you know, you're not writing them anymore. You write them down 3 days in a row and then you stop. I'm telling you, if you can make it to a year, writing your goals down every single day, once in the morning, once at night, your focus becomes a mode of operation for you. Like, you don't even think about it anymore. You know what you're working for. Let's see, the next one, 2 forms of communication. This is a big one too. When you make a sales call, when you follow up with somebody, you always have to use 2 forms of communication. I make a phone call, I send an email. Send an email, send a text. I show up at their business, I send an email. Always, always, always use 2 forms of communication, right? Because what if somebody doesn't check their emails, or what if somebody doesn't check their voicemails and they only do the one thing that you're not doing, right? Let's see. Always, always, always have a great attitude, especially when you don't feel like it. This is another big one. Like every day when I wake up, I'm not always in a great mood, right? But I still got to show up. I still got to figure out how can I shift this, dude? How can I flip my day around? How can I focus on something positive? Dude, and then I go back to my goals. Hey, what am I driving into work for right now? Dude, I'm driving into work for the financial freedom, for my family, for growing this business up and making this business wildly successful, 10 times bigger than it is right now. Like that, and it's not so much about the money, it's about, dude, we built something that was like indestructible that people will talk about for years. Hey, do you remember how Grant Cardone completely blew up and now he's a household name known by 7 billion people all over the world? Dude, that's freaking exciting. It's a mission, right? So you gotta make sure that you have these little things and these little tricks that you can do to get your attitude on another level. Always always keep the people around you that bring you up. This is another one for me. One of my always. I always try to have people around me that are gonna help me, not hurt me or pull me back. And this goes back to number one, saying, dude, success is hard. It requires tough decisions. It's not always gonna be easy, right? So you got to have people around you that contribute to your success. They don't hinder you from it. And then always be willing to do whatever it takes to be the best. When I go in somewhere, dude, I want to be the best. You know, when I was a salesperson, it was always, I'm going to be the best. What do I got to do to be the best? I'm going to outwork. Maybe it's an ego thing or a pride thing. I don't know, but I just always wanted to be the best. And when I played on the golf team, I was like, I want to be the best. Whatever I got to do to be the best, I'm going to do that. Who's the guy that's doing it, right? I'm going to do whatever he's doing, plus like 10 more things, right? Because I don't want to be in the middle of the pack. I want to win, right? And winning is important. So those are my success, my hustling tips, my hustling 101. We've got some questions here online here. Mauricio Romero, how do you get pumped up before calls? Again, being goal focused, focus on the big goals. When you get losses on the phone, like when you get hang-ups, we do hang-up high fives. We try to keep it light. We got music on while we're making calls. But when you have those losses throughout the day, you feel rejected, you get hung up on a bunch of times, go back to your goals, man. Get goals that are so big and exciting that picking up a phone call and facing rejection and failing and getting hung up on and having somebody cuss you out is actually a good thing because it brings you closer to your goals. Let's see what else here. An idea I heard when reading, highlight and underline. Then you can reread the important parts of the book in lightning speed. I love that. That's from Yitzi. Jared McCreary, plan, process, and execute. Consistency is key. I love that. We're talking about their rules online. Hold yourself accountable to make things happen. Do not talk about what you're going to do. Just do it. Like Nike says, don't talk about it, be about it, right? Chad, I apply that to everything I read. Listen, learn, engage, adapt, repeat. Concentration comes out of combination of confidence and hunger. So there's some great comments on here. So look, that's my message for you today, guys. Get your fundamentals in. Get your hustling 101 fundamentals in. These were a list of mine. You got to come up with your list of yours, man. You got to figure out what your rules to live by are going to be. And I promise you, once you create your rules, once you get your mindset aligned, once you get in the right vehicle, once you start actually learning and growing, and you get your always in, and you never betray them, and you're consistent with them, dude, you're gonna have your thing's gonna start blowing up, right? I mean, it's exciting for me, right? I'm just getting started, right? Like, I look back 2 years ago and I'm like, man, things have changed so much in such a short period of time, and I'm excited because I know that if you guys do this, if you guys do these things, and you're constantly aware of it and you're working on it all the time, that things are going to change for you in a big way. Whether you're already successful now and you're looking for the next level, or you're like my man Paul making $1,500 a month, trying to figure out, hey man, how do I get this thing started? So look, guys, I appreciate you coming by the show today. Make sure you check out the Cardone Zone tomorrow at noon East Coast Standard Time. And by the way, we got a special right now on webinars, grantcardone.com, 70% off these webinars, guys. Probably 25, 30 hours of some of the most amazing content that you will see nowhere else from Grant, with ebooks and jokes. And dude, I promise you, best investment you can make is in yourself. Take us up on this offer, 70% off of $250 webinars. It's a complete steal. Dude, and remember, the only ones that condemn the hustle are the ones that have already given up on the hustle themselves. We'll see you guys next week.
Today's episode was brought to you by the Comfort Experts. See us for all your heating and air conditioning needs. For more information, visit onehouраircarolinas.com. That's onehouraircarolinas.com.